control. That's part of our consultant fee that we're paying as we go along. And transferred $564 from contingency to 9050.8 unemployment insurance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. I have a guest here from Honeywell School, Dr. McGill. I don't think, Wayne, you would have any trouble if ladies go first, do you? So, Ms. McGill, would you like to do your thing?
Thank you. I'm realizing the relationship now.
I thought you might.
Yeah, very good. My name's Phyllis McGill. I'm the superintendent of schools for Onteora, and I'm here with Dan Spencer, who's also one of our board members. And now I want to explain. I recognize some parents from Bennett School and other people that I know from the community. But I wanted to share with you the minutes from a board meeting. And one of the things, I was listening to your clerk, and as you know, you can't modify minutes. So I'm sharing with you a copy of the minutes and explaining the minutes from a board meeting. But I want to also let you know where we are as a district. I've been in the district since February 22nd, and I plan to stay a long time. I hope so. But along with that, there's been a lot of concern since I've been in the district and looking at how our students are doing. And we know that the state assessments are not the only form of data, but it's certainly what the state looks at in terms of how we are doing. And our district as a whole right now has an 80% graduation rate. You'll see that we have 85% for children who are actually at our high school, but we also have kids that go out to BOCES and other placements and alternative ed programs. So we've been really having a conversation about how do we improve student performance. What happened recently, actually last June, under Commissioner King, they came out with a new standard. And the standard is that they're looking at aspirational goals. There's been a lot of concern from the colleges as well as from the private sector. Should I come up here?
No, we're just trying to get.
What?
Trying to see what he's
Oh,
handing
I'm
out.
sorry. There's a lot of concern from the private sector that kids in New York State, that graduates in New York State, may not be college ready or career ready when they graduate. Am I speaking loud enough?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, all right, good. And so what they said is they started looking at the standard and saying, what is really how are our graduates doing to see if they are really, in fact, college ready and career ready? Because a lot of kids graduate and then they go to a college and they find out that they need to take 3, 6, or 9 hours of credits just to remediate to be ready for college courses. And so we started having that conversation in June. And so while we also have 20% of our kids that are not graduating, we've also realized that we have at least another 20% of our students who are not really college ready, the way that the state is asking them to be college ready. And what they're saying is you have to at least get an 80% on the English language arts region, and you at least need to demonstrate a 75 on one of the math regions. So we've been having conversations about performance, and we've also been working in professional development on improving our performance. What also happened is last spring, in grades 3 through 8, students take the New York State assessments. And the way that you get scored is you either get a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the assessments. If you get a 1, that means you're not meeting the assessment at all, the standards. If you get a 2, it means with some help, you may be able to reach the standard. If you get a 3, you're passing, and if you get a 4, it means that you're exceeding the standard. When we were scored for students with disabilities, and we have about an 18% identification rate of students with disabilities, which is rather high, and it's something that we are looking into. We have now, for 2 years in a row, we did not make adequate yearly progress in meeting the needs of students with disabilities. So we've been identified at both Phoenicia Elementary School and at the middle school in terms of as being schools in need of improvement in educating students with disabilities. When I speak to Mr. Bono at Bennett, and when I speak also to Mrs. Schnell at Woodstock, she will tell you that if they had enough kids to really measure them, because they need 30 kids in order to apply the statistical test, we would not be making adequate yearly progress in those schools as well. So we really are addressing this in many ways. The less popular way, at least less popular for me, is the state has now come in and said out of the Title I monies that we receive, we need to give 20% to set aside for tutoring services that parents from both Phoenicia and the middle school can actually contract with at a tutoring fair, where while BOCES offers it, we're also going to have to enter into agreements for after-school tutoring through some of these private tutoring companies. So that's the way that I'm not happy about it. In the positive way, we've also received, we wrote some grants that we were eligible for, and we're receiving $50,000 back from the state, and we're going to put some academic intervention support in English language arts. At the middle school, we're bringing back a teacher part of the time that we had to lay off last year, and we're going to be working on computerized software in English language arts at Phoenicia School. And those are the only places where we could apply the money. But if you look overall, what happened this year at the state is that they flipped the model for looking at what is considered adequate yearly progress. They used to say, what did you need at kindergarten, what do you need by first, by second, and move all the way up. The way they flipped it is they said, you know what? No, if kids are not ready for college, or they're not ready for careers, we're going to say, what do you need at 12th grade? What are you going to need at 11th? What are you going to need at 10th? And they're pushing the curriculum down more and more. And by flipping that model, many schools in New York State who had previously done well are now not doing well based on these measures, and that includes our students at Onteora. So what you'll see is from last year's 3 to 8th grade students, in grade 4 last year, which is now our 5th grade students, remember I said you needed a 1, or you get a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and 3 and 4 is passing. We found that only 62% of our students, under this new way of figuring it, are not making what the state calls adequate yearly progress. In 5th grade last year, which is this year 6th grade, 60% of our students are making adequate yearly progress, which means 40% are not. 6th grade last year, 70% made AYP, that's the term they use. 7th grade, 55%, and 8th grade, 42%. So you can see, I'm very disappointed, as everybody is, that we're not making adequate yearly progress, and we're trying to adjust to the state, and we're doing a lot of staff development, but the other thing is looking at how are we really educating our kids, and what's the best way to do it, because we're not getting through enough in order for our kids to be college and career ready and pass the Regents exams. So that's the scheme, that's the big picture on what's going on academically. And we know we need to do a better job, and we're working on those things, but it's really important that you understand that this is what's going on. The school report cards will be released in February, and then you'll be able to compare us to other districts, but we know this is not acceptable and it's not good enough for our students here. So that's been the first piece in this whole picture. The second piece that's come up is our decreasing enrollment, which you're all very aware of, being long-term residents, and some of you lifelong residents of the district. And what we're finding is that we're graduating classes of like 146 and bringing in classes of between 80 and 90. So we're going down approximately